Dan Cohen, we wouldn't be sitting here today if there wasn't someone like you to get this all started. Tell us what went through your mind and what got this whole thing going.
So I'm a social worker by training, although I spent most of my life in technology. In 2006, I was listening to the radio, a journalist talking about how iPods are ubiquitous, they're everywhere. And I thought, well, you know, all the kids have them, a lot of us do, but in a nursing home, if I'm ever in a nursing home, am I going to be able to have access to my favorite 60s music? And so I Googled iPods and nursing homes. And even though there's 16,000 nursing homes in the United States, I couldn't find one using iPods. So I called my local county facility near me. They didn't know me. And I said, look, I know music's already your #1 recreational activity, but can we see if there's any added value if we were to totally personalize the music? And they said, sure. So I came in with my laptop and some iPods, and it was just, you know, an instant hit with the residents. And so we sort of grew it from there.
All right, very good. I know we're going to have follow-up questions, so I'm not going to take all my questions now. There is a Southwest Florida connection, and we have, thanks to the Neuropsychiatric Center of Southwest Florida, Dr. Fred Sharef is here, along with Angel Duncan. Thank you guys for presenting this film with us tonight. And when it comes to Southwest Florida, if you could just maybe address relevancy and what it means to see a film like this in Southwest Florida.
Well, this film just obviously blew me away and everyone else away. I'm a physician by training. We do research, clinical trials. But I can tell you there's nothing that I've trained for it can do what a $5 to $10 headphone and some good music can do. And I think it really brings so much to awareness of the problem. You know that we're in a big dilemma here with an epidemic that's affecting 45,000 Southwest Florida citizens, and you know all the statistics. I think the important thing I'm learning is that we all need to work together and look at all the areas, and not one area is going to have all the answers. And this just gives us an opportunity. We were talking about painting before several weeks ago, how that wakes people up. And we can talk about how the brain works and does that, but you can see it better on this film. And I'm just very grateful to have the opportunity to sit with these people and expose more individuals to this dilemma and this epidemic and how important research is, and even just people's observations and feelings and experimenting on their own without IRBs and governmental agencies, and what successes those can be. So I'm just thankful to be here.
So this is a little film that could. I almost didn't submit it to Sundance because it was $100, and I'm like, they're never going to want to see a film on Alzheimer's and music. And my wife, on the very last day, made me submit it, and we won the Audience Award, which is next to the Academy Award. And I just want to tell you that because of this success, we are going to roll out nationally. We're going to be in 45 theaters in July. Okay? And we're going to need a lot of help. So go to aliveinside.us and like us on Facebook and Twitter, and we have to build a national awareness. And that's why I say this is the film that could, because if this film can have a commercial life, that means it enters into the public conversation. That means the New York Times talks about it. That means Time Magazine, and Dan and I were just on Katie Couric, and all of these things are going to bring this to, instead of a hidden conversation, to a public conversation. And then people like The Good Doctor will get more support. So we need your help. Don't forget about us. This is the biggest thing we've ever done, and we can't believe it's happening. So thank you.
Absolutely. Let's take a question. I see a question. Did I see a hand? Right here. Go ahead.
First of all, I want to say thank you. I really enjoyed it. Filled with so much emotion, or hug somebody. But my question is, how do we go about getting the physicians to buy into this music therapy versus medication?
That's a tough question. I was talking to somebody who had a big battle with his doctor. take my mom off of these antipsychotic drugs. And he really said, no, until he really the family just said, you have to do it. What's the downside kind of thing? And so they took it off and substituted with his mom's favorite music. Done. So it's really just, I don't know what it is exactly, because there is this sort of medicalized society. If it's in a pill, I mean, as Dr. Davies said, now he invented the one pill that helps a bit with memory, okay? And when he saw this movie, he said, if I were to invent a pill like this that achieved what we're seeing here, it would very quickly become a multi-billion-dollar blockbuster, and every doctor would be recommending it. So we're achieving the outcomes. It's not in a pill. Why isn't every doctor recommending it, or every family recommending it? I'm not blaming the doctors, or it's really, we all believe in the pill, regardless of the long list of side effects and all the commercials we watch, and blah, 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 blah. Here's something, there is no downside. There are no side effects. The worst case scenario, it doesn't work. It doesn't work every time, but it works most of the time. And it works a number of times in a dramatic way. And these are the results that we're seeing. In New York City, the chief of psychiatry for the New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation says he reduced antipsychotic use from 38% to 13% in 2 years. And we're getting that replicated around the country. We're getting drastic reductions in anti-anxiety meds, antidepressants, sleeping pills. People who stop feeding themselves, start feeding themselves. People who are diagnosed with failure to thrive, like God help me, take me, I'm done. Then this reminds me when I was young, and somehow turns the switch on, they start eating, they gain weight, they live longer. So there's just a number of benefits that are happening that we're seeing. The program is now running in 450 nursing homes and assisted living facilities and adult daycare centers and hospices and hospitals and home care organizations in 41 states and 8 countries. But that's only 2% of the nursing homes in the U.S., so we have 98% to go, and that's what we're hoping here in Fort Myers, Florida. I want to introduce the administrator of the only nursing home in Florida that currently has been using personalized music for 2 years. Maria, can you say a word?
We can bring the microphone back to Maria.
Question? Thank you. Thank you to Dan Cohen, and thank you, Mike. Just a wonderful documentary, had me in tears. And just reading into our association, Florida Healthcare Association magazine grant. And I just figured everyone in Florida is going to apply for this, but I'll try. And Lord and behold, I'm the only one in Florida that has the program. So we have a 48-bed nursing home facility, and with our activities coordinator and our nursing assistants, we have provided the 50 iPods to our residents and have been seeing great results.
Thank you very much. I know many of you are excited about the VIP after party, but I do want to take maybe at least another question.
One more. What was the nursing home?
Huh?
Someone was asking.
Florida Presbyterian Homes in Lakeland, Florida.
Thank you.
Let's take another question. I think Destiny's got someone over there who wants to ask something again. She's pointing to the person next to her.
It was answered.
It was answered. There's two back there. Pick the one who's most enthusiastic. That one's standing. She's jumping out of her seat to ask this question. It's going to be good.
Okay, that film was amazing and it really inspired me. I'm a junior in high school and I plan on studying music therapy in college. And I just had a question. Would you ever consider doing this kind of music thing for people who suffer with depression and anxiety? Because I personally have suffered from depression for 6 years probably. And I've been on medication for a little over a year. And honestly, I can say the only thing that makes me feel, happy and alive again is music. And I think this is a super important film to see because it really shows how music can affect someone and change them and bring out something in them that you never even knew you had.
Dr. Sharef?
You bring up the issue, and the issue was also out there about doctors and what their mindset is, and I think we need to be more open, we need to be educated, and yes, I think we should consider that. We should consider anything that's helpful, and it's interesting that if you think about music, as Dr. Oliver Sacks said, the brain responds to music in many, many different ways in many areas. The same is true with music and depression. And if you think about the biochemical nature of it, you are going to produce antidepressants like dopamine to wake people up, give them more energy. So I think we're really missing the boat by just thinking that medicines can cure everything. I think it has to be a unified approach. You can't use one alone, but I think we're stronger together using a multidisciplinary approach. But I think physicians have to be educated not to just think that medicine is the only answer. We all have been taught to look at science, and this is science, and I think the data's out there.
Yes.
I just want to say one last thing, and that is, it's kind of what I said in the end of the film. You know, we have big problems in the world right now. One of them has to do with the way we think, like the way we think about the earth, the way we think about each other, the way we think about ourselves. And just what we're all saying is we have to think differently. It's interesting that that's the Apple logo, and you used all those shuffles. But, you know, music is our birthright. And in it, it's just so interesting, it has amazing wisdom. In music, we all move together, we beat together, we are connected. And I think that if we could use that to inform the way we make our choices, you know, if our wisdom came from things like music, instead of turning everything into an object and turning ourselves into isolated beings, if we could find the connection between us all in our thinking, it would solve a lot of the problems that are in front of us.
Amen. I want to take one more question, and I know everyone's speaking of music, and we're going to have some here at the after party. If you thought Dan Cohen danced well in that film, wait till we get a couple of drinks in him up here. Do we have one right there? Maybe this will be our last one. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. First, I'd like to thank you so much. My name is Mike Rohrbacher, and I just moved to here in Fort Myers. I'm very excited to share with all of you that Florida Gulf Coast University will begin a music therapy program. We're looking at fall of 2015. One thing very exciting is having the opportunity to design the program. We look forward to partnering with your organization and doing what we can to further the goals as expressed in the film tonight. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I want to give one last chance. You can all meet them up here, and I think if you're especially coming to the party, or you'll meet people tonight, right? So come and meet these guys, and I think I want to give you a chance, maybe one last thing for those who might have to go home, though. Anybody want to last final comments? Angel?
I didn't acknowledge them, and I do want to strongly acknowledge the Alzheimer's Association Florida Gulf Coast chapter. They are sharing, collaborate with us all the time. They're a wonderful resource in providing support groups, education, all types of services. They're out there as well, please. So they're at the table too. If you have questions, they'll be there. Thank you.
So I know that a number of you are thinking of your elder relatives, something that you can do with them. On the musicandmemory.org website, you can download a free resource guide, how to set up a personalized playlist for your loved one. Okay, so you can start.
It's musicandmemory.org. Let's give it up one more time for everybody here.